Buenos dias. Human nature. I often, not often, but every 6 months or so, I bring it up because it's really important with everything that is happening here. Now, the reason I brought this up, because last night, notification, YouTube, bang, I kind of followed it and ended up on a thread that I had totally missed, the Simon Dan stuff. I tell you what, these flies, I've got a fly trap and everything. The guy at Bunnings said it's the worst year that he's known in a long time for flies. And they're freaking really annoying. So if I spray you every now and again, it's because of flies. It's not because you smell. A bit of lack of common sense and you're wrong about your own science, but you do not smell. 25 to 30% want me wrong because of my attitude. So I answered, there's about 20 questions, not questions, remarks, questions, just 20 people, Simon Dan crew, okay? Totally missed it. I answered every single one. And I'm glad it happened because it reminded me, it jolted me what we are up against. 25 to 30%, these are the numbers in my head, right? This is what I'm thinking. Give or take a few percent, I think I'll be pretty close. Don't forget, I'm the person who's on his own against hundreds, thousands. I've answered thousands of comments over the years. I used to answer every single one. The first 6 months I was doing this, right? The amount of abuse that I used to get. You cannot even imagine what it was like. I used to go to bed. My phone, I would be dong, ding, 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 different platforms. I ended up, the only one I had to turn off was Instagram because holy smokes, the lack of common sense there, because of my attitude. Here's the thing, your science told you it didn't care about your common sense. You openly tell me that common sense is irrelevant. Now, when I say you could have more common sense, right? I am not lying. This is the thing. When I say you're wrong about your science, you are wrong about your science. You guys think I'm some kind of wanker, arrogant prick. I'm not. It's a shell that I have had to, like a Ninja Turtle, to protect the back. You know, it's been a long road. And along that road, I've had to get Excalibur out and battle trolls and all sorts of people, right? But the ultimate thing, the end result of all of this, I have to say, it was worth it. And I'm getting there. What I noticed last night with all of the stuff that I answered, right, that it's mostly about human nature. Like I said, I'd say these numbers are close. Maybe a bit more. You want me wrong. You just don't like me. You hear my voice. You think that I'm wrong about the science, right? And that you're right. Even though science told you. Common sense, you leave it outside. Hello, alarm bells. So a lot of you don't even care that Fitzo's stuff is an absurdity. A lot of you haven't even gone to the names when I say, listen, how on earth did that happen? How on earth did that happen? Those of you who want me to fail don't give a monkey's. You just want me to fail. You want me to trip up, don't you? I've got news for you. Another 25 to 30% are invested in the photon. I know I'm getting messages now from teachers. You can tell we've gone from the average Joe with no common sense to teachers and qualified folk. But the common sense thing, it doesn't matter how many qualifications a person has. PhD, masters, bachelors, university degrees, it's all irrelevant, okay? No amount of qualifications can guarantee common sense. This is not saying that everybody who has a qualification doesn't have common sense. That would be absurd. But just because people have qualifications, really, I don't think it means that much. I see things, I'm objective. And look, there are people majoring in 25,000 Egyptians, shifted 2.3 million 2.5-ton stones. People are majoring in it. If I had, for some reason, ended up in the first class of that, and somebody had said, right, look, these are numbers, welcome to the Egyptology. What we're going to be focusing on, what we have here is Pyramid Giza. We've got 25,000 Egyptians. And before he carried on, I would have gone, how? Is there not 2.3 million 2.5-ton stones? How could 25, and that would have been the end for me, because you're not allowed to disagree with the narrative. But would I sit there and listen to that rubbish? Of course not. So, human nature is at work here, right? The invested people, I've been doing this close to 3 years, the speed of light now. There would have been people near the beginning, sat with friends, girlfriends, wives, pets. Look at this arrogant wanker prick. Look at him. Absolute light. What a wank. Darling, come and look at this guy. 2-3 years ago. What's he doing? Look. God, he thinks. Oh, of course there's photons. Now, 2.5 years later, I guarantee you there will be partners, friends. How's that guy going? You know, the one that, absolute light, the one that you said photons are definitely a thing. Those people, teachers who have been teaching it, unaware, even though now it's so obvious that there's no light delay, teaching it. Not logically, because there is no logical explanation for a solar eclipse with finite light. This is the unfortunate bit about all of this. I'm right and you're wrong. But because the majority, because it's been taught, because of freaking nature, we're up against it. Ultimately, we're on the same side. I know that, but you don't. You just think I'm some wanker, arrogant prick. It's a shame, because I'm a nice guy. I'm good fun. Like the club, like the music, that kind of a thing, you know. It's been a long road. But right now, the main issue is human nature. People, the majority of you are governed by your emotions. And this has brought it up. Me, I have brought it up. Because the shell that I need to protect myself has made me come across as a handsome, arrogant prick, hasn't it? Right? But it's too important. It doesn't really matter what anybody thinks. So it kind of, now it just about, I laugh now. I think it's funny. That thread last night, there were 3 proper bang, bang, bang explanations. People telling me I have no clue what I'm talking about. 3 explanations for a solar eclipse with finite light. Telling me the sun would be there, different, right? One I didn't really pay much, I speed read it, I couldn't do it after the other 2. But the first 2 were different. So all of a sudden, you've got 2 people who are telling me I don't understand, and they've both written two different versions of how a solar eclipse can work with finite light. How can that be? How can there be two different versions? But this is where it gets, I think, fun. Not one of those explanations included the 2.08 degrees that planet Earth turns in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So when I say nobody fully understands the science, what I'm trying to say is nobody fully understands science. I think, look, I do understand science. I understand the concept of absolute light and finite light. And finite light, it does not compute. It doesn't work. It's ridiculous, an absurdity, especially with the solar eclipse, because planet Earth spins 2.08 degrees in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Sweet spot, it's very small. 8 minutes and 20 seconds is a long time when you're turning. And photons are coming. How can everything be lined up? Those of you who did write explanations telling me I didn't understand and that you did, here's the explanation. What I need you to do is say, I need you to write 100 lines in capitals. I'm a bit of a numpty and I don't fully understand my own science. I want 100 lines in capital letters before lunchtime. That is your punishment for trying to mock me, tell me that I don't understand science, and then go on to drop an explanation without 8 minutes and 20 seconds of axis spin. And it wouldn't surprise me if somebody saw that now and replied, that's irrelevant. That's the kind of thing we're dealing with. But back to this. People, you need to drop the ego. This is not about ego. It is not about ego. We have no time. My attitude, you're wrong about your science. You were told that science didn't care about your common sense, and you've even told me that common sense is irrelevant, which means you openly say that you have limited, it's been compromised, right? That's all I'm saying. I'm saying what you were told. I'm just repeating it. Why would people get offended? You're telling me, nah, you don't need common sense. Leave it at the door like us. Nah. But you get offended when I say your common sense isn't all it could be, okay? You are programmed to get gnarly when something like this happens with someone. Cognitive dissonance. You don't like it. People are invested, the girlfriends asking the boyfriends and the husbands and hey darling, how's it going with that speed of light, that guy you said? Still a wanker, is he? Or is he going to be right? People, they don't want this. It's a paradigm shifting stuff, which is why it's getting done. Because I am right. Look, it is what it is. But the main thing is that I understand this. I should have brought this up earlier than I did now. You guys need to dig deep as well and accept the fact that maybe you are wrong. Especially those of you who are now writing 100 lines, capital letters. I'm a bit of a numpty and I don't understand my own science. So 25 to 30% of people are indifferent. They don't even know who Fitzo is. They see my content, probably see me on a screen once in a while. It's a handsome man, I wonder what he's talking about. But then they're already scrolling on something else. Loads of people are quite indifferent to it, which is a shame, because it's important. It's important. It's about the future. The children, going to leave them with this mess. Einstein, calling photons when there are solar eclipses. No explanation for how they work. And the ones that do come along don't have any 2.08 degree axis spin. So you cannot understand science. Do not get the shits at me, with me. It's not right. You've been programmed, you've got little chips, little triggers. And I am a big trigger for a few reasons, right? It's fun though, isn't it? What else would you be doing? Right. 10 to 15% of people are in my corner. Really, it used to be 1%. I've always had a 1%. It's changed. There are people, not everybody understands the science, but no, nobody understands the science. I'm yet to talk with somebody who can flat Earth. Look, it's been a while since I mentioned that. I am presuming when I say planets, I am using round. Because it's what I thought, it's what I know, it's what I was taught. Well, I was taught that. The very basics. But I'm sure that every eclipse, every situation that we find ourselves in, thinking it's round, there will be a version of it for the flat. So I am never, ever, and believe you me, I am not saying it's round, and I am not saying it's flat. Until I do my own, that will be the only time. And look, we get this out of the way, this speed of light thing, the pyramids will take care of themselves. Even the person with the least common sense in the room will start to go, 2.3 million, 2.5 tons stone, sir, 25,000 Egyptians. That'd be the comeback of common sense. Then we won't have to go through these things, be able to go fishing and stuff. But once we get this done, I love to do I already know in my head what I want to do, the tests that I want to do, but you have to prove it in just a couple of days. But I refuse to get sucked in and then water this down. The flat Earth will come when the photon has packed it fucking bags and gone. Then, boom, straight into the flat Earth. Promise you. But stop being bitches. Be nice. Accept the fact that you could be are wrong. Accept the fact, those of you who pumped out that explanation without the actual spin, right now you should be writing lines. You should understand that you are wrong. You thought you understood the science, but you obviously didn't. But people have excuses for that as well. Oh, I forgot about that. Human nature, right? We've been programmed to attack in mass, herd mentality. Outsider! Got a nice tan as well. That can't help, can it? You know, right. Nobody fully understands the science. They don't. You don't. You don't. It's not about, a lot of this isn't, I've realised again, isn't about the actual facts, the ins and outs, the 100 teeth on the wheel, the hundreds of times per second for fixed zones. It's not about that. Most of you presume. Most of you just presume. It's one of the most dangerous acts, right? Presumption. Because there are so many of you, right? And you all believe the same thing. You all talk the same thing. It gets to the stage where there's that many that any newcomers that come along, you know, oh, what's going on here? Speed of light. Oh, I like. How many? All of you lot. Of course Galileo, of course Roman, That's called presumption. And it's very easy to make people presume. The rapid fire method. How many people all working out speed of light? To so many that it kind of seems illogical to question it. How could they be wrong? You presume. You presume. The people who are telling me you could do most of those experiments. I have tried everything there. I have physically put myself in the first person and actually physically gone through the motions with some of these things. In my head with all of them. I don't actually physically need to be in, I can put myself in the first person using empathy, right? I can put myself in Romer's shoes, and I know it would never happen. Telescopes just fell off the calendar. He's got no accurate timekeeping devices. I actually did go through the motions on that one, but I wouldn't have needed to even get my telescope out to know, without any accurate timekeeping devices, it cannot be done. But you guys, it's like you don't hear what I'm saying. But the reason is, you don't need to. Because you presume, there's so many of you, you just presume, how can it be wrong? Look at us, all of us, apart from that arrogant wanker over there. We must be right. You're not, you're wrong. You presume all of these things have been done. If you put your devices down and you read, only 15 to 25% have actually sat down and read Galileo, Romer, Huygens, Bradley, etc. after hearing me talk about it. Low numbers, because you don't think you have to. You think you know it all. You think that because there are so many of you who believe it, one of them has done it, one of them knows for sure. How could we can't all be wrong? You are wrong. You presume. You fall for the oldest tricks in the book. You're being played like a violin. You are being governed by your emotions. This isn't about whether it's finite or absolute for some of you. It's about watching me trip up. You've been programmed to give people like me a hard time. Conspiracy theorists. Attack. Finish him. Still here. Still here, alright? Now, nobody really knows how much is at stake. The reason I'm doing this is because of the kids. You don't understand. Leave your kids on a planet. They're lying about the speed of light, the age of the universe, light years, relativity. Now, this is foggying everybody's correct vision up. You need to start thinking about how long I've been doing this, what I'm saying, what is at stake. Relativity, absolute light. It's chalk and cheese. Absolute light is liberating. And it's a fact that it is absolute light. Nobody owns the speed of light. When it's absolute, everybody is in the same boat. It's an equalizer, which is why so many people don't want this to happen. Read the names, and 5 to 10% of people get it. They don't actually 100% understand the science, but they get what I'm doing. They know the absurdities, not in depth, but deep down inside, they know, they get it. It needs to be done. If it can be destroyed by the truth, it should be destroyed by the truth. What's the other one? Questioning science is how you do science. Not questioning science. You question it. I have questions. Still not answered. Some of them have. People who understand the science have answered me with explanations for a solar eclipse with finite light. But they failed to mention the 2.08 degrees of planet Earth turns in 8 minutes and 20 seconds, which means you do not understand your own science. I am just stating the obvious, right? So, with that human nature thing done and dusted, 80%, did I mention this one? 80% of these two just cannot handle being wrong. You will get the shit bad. What is it about being wrong? It's about growth. If you're wrong, you're fucking wrong, aren't you? You can't make it right and get the shits about it. Especially with what's at stake. So, that human nature thing, try and pull the reins back. Understand I'm an awesome guy, friendly, just all of it. I'm a breath of fresh air. I'm a sunny day, aren't I? Right? So, don't be governed by your emotions. It is counterproductive. Don't get angry and wound up all the time when you see my face. Say, Paul, nice one on the speed of light, mind. Close one. What are we doing today? That's what we're after. No, I'm not. I'm just wanting people to start thinking for themselves and stop getting roped into all of these ridiculousness. Atomic clocks in 1971, 300 billionths of a second out. What's wrong with people? 1971. With what? Claiming knowledge that cannot be known, and claiming achievements that have not, and probably a lot that cannot ever be achieved, including the Parker Solar Probe orbiting the Sun within 5 Sun diameters. No. Knocking asteroids, of course. No. Talking to the Voyagers. No. Look, it's about common sense. Let go of the baggage. Start looking at things objectively and think about what is at stake. Think about what is at stake. You'll eventually love me, okay? I'll get invites to barbecues and free holidays and all sorts of stuff. Just right now you're having a bit of trouble because you're programmed to be awkward. I will outlast you. So just remember, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. It's when people don't admit it. And I'm not wrong, okay? 28 minutes, look, Saturday, it used to be the best day of the week for me. Still is. I always get a bit of a twinge on a Saturday. It used to be great times. So enjoy the Saturday. Enjoy the science. Joking. One needs to understand it first. I'm kidding. Alright, later peeps.